This episode of Tech News Weekly is brought to you by Braintree. If you're working on a mobile app and searching for a simple payment solution, check out Braintree. With one simple integration, you can offer your customers every way to pay, period. To learn more, and for your first $50,000 in transactions fee-free, go to BraintreePayments.com/TNW.
Starting Tech News Weekly in 3, 2, 1.
Hey everybody, welcome to Tech News Weekly and Happy New Year, our first show of the new year. I'm Andrew Zarin. Of course, I'm joined by Mr. John Bub. How you doing, John?
Hey, Andrew. How's it going?
Wonderful. No sleep. Very little sleep for me.
I bet.
Yeah.
But then you're kind of used to that anyway, so.
I really don't sleep much, but, it's something else, this baby experience for people who don't know.
Welcome to a project that's going to take at least 18 years of your life.
Yeah. This is a social experiment, and here she is. I pushed her out all by myself. I did all the work. That guy you hear in the back is Nick Craig. How you doing, Nick?
Hey, Andrew, what's going on?
Nick,
hey,
where can people find you?
You can find me on my website, nickcraig.net, or craigdigitaldesigns.com.
Or on Blab. You're a Blab celebrity.
It's been, I don't remember the last time I was on Tech News Weekly.
I don't know.
Probably a year or two. Probably two.
Probably a while. Well, now you're here.
You don't like me, so it's fine.
Oh, Nick, don't say that. I love you. CES week, guys. A lot's going on. I want to talk about CES. A lot of, some disappointing news, some exciting stuff happening at CES. I spoke about it yesterday on What the Tech, and we're going to talk about it again, and we're going to get different opinions about the events happening in Las Vegas this entire week. I guess so, maybe. We'll see. A little teaser there, John. But before we do that, I want to thank our sponsor, and of course, we're ringing in the new year with Braintree. Now, what is Braintree, you ask? Braintree is a phenomenal company. If you are an app developer, if you are developing a mobile app for your company, for your business, you accept some sort of payments, Braintree is the perfect payment solution. This is an application that's used by companies like Uber. I use Uber almost every single week. Hotel Tonight, Airbnb, Living Social, the list goes on and on. And what makes Braintree amazing is that instead of putting in a number of codes, all different types of things into your application, you just do Braintree. It's a full stack payment solution. It supports all different types of payments, all different types of payment methods that the customers would want. They do PayPal. They're a PayPal company. They do PayPal, Apple Pay, Bitcoin. The list goes on and on. Every credit card that you could think of, they accept. Every major credit card. Also, they have superior fraud protection. Not fraud protection, John. Fraud protection. No? They have phenomenal customer service and tremendously fast payouts. This is a great deal that they're offering. If you are an app developer, our friend Lewis, good friend of mine, he is a listener of What the Tech, and he works at a restaurant that I go to regularly. He is developing an application for his company, and he sent me this beautiful message saying, "Listen, I've started doing Braintree. I put it in," and he goes, "I barely know any coding, and I got this. I was able to do it, and it was super easy, and it works great. And here's the catch here." Your first $50,000 in transactions are fee-free. If you go to BraintreePayments.com/TNW, that's BraintreePayments.com/TNW, your first $50,000 in transactions are fee-free. So you're not losing out on anything, boys and girls. You could sign up, check it out, and use it. $50,000, that's a lot of money. A lot of bread, as they say in my neck of the woods. BraintreePayments.com/TNW. I want to thank Braintree for supporting Tech News Weekly, supporting What the Tech, and of course for supporting the GFQ Network. Hopefully, we'll be talking more about them, and they're going to be doing a lot of cool stuff this year. BraintreePayments.com/TNW. Thank you, Braintree. John.
Yes.
It is time for CES, the moment that we all wait for every single year, and it is just disappointing every single year.
Yes.
And I'll tell you why.
In the last, I think, 2 or 3 years, these last few ones just have not been particularly great. CES is one of those shows now that has morphed into something completely different than it was probably 5 years ago.
Yeah, no, well, a lot of the big players have pulled out, right? You have
Yeah.
Apple that it no longer was represented at CES. They've been out for a while. Microsoft pulled out this year. Last year was the last year at CES. Samsung has a humongous presence there. But the thing about CES is that it is no longer important for a company to unveil their latest products at CES because everybody's doing their own keynotes now. Apple changed the way that information is provided. Products are unveiled.
I don't think CES is one of those places now where you have to be in order to get your product out there. There are so many more ways to get your product out there, especially now that we have Indiegogo and Kickstarter. There's so many more ways to start your project now.
So if you look at CES from my perspective this year, it seems like you're not getting like guys like Motorola and Samsung that are unveiling, the latest phones, and Google's not unveiling new products.
You have other events for that stuff anyway, not just single keynotes for those companies themselves, which they do, but there's also Mobile World Congress and a bunch of other mobile centric conferences out there, and CES is not necessarily a good fit for them anymore.
No, it's not. And what CES has become now is a platform for major manufacturers like LG, HTC, Samsung to show off what they are working on for the future, right? And we're going to talk
latest
about something
TVs, cool. Their smart connected devices, virtual reality devices, whatever the new gimmick is for that year.
And whatever that would not require a huge announcement for. Samsung is not going to put together a keynote on a separate time, for an event for their latest, TV line. You're not going to get that. Nick, when you've been following tech for forever. Have you noticed this happening from these companies? I mean, what have you noticed from CES? What changes have you noticed?
Well, the thing I've never really liked about CES is the stuff that they show off is so infant. It's in such an infancy that it's not practical. When we started seeing 4K in like 2010, of CES, and 4K still hasn't done a mass rollout yet. So the stuff that we're seeing is great in 3 or 4 years, but for right now, it's not really anything useful. It's just a lot of garbage that is prototyped.
Yeah, I mean the 4K stuff, you see it in the stores, but the reality, and it's inexpensive right now, right? You could get a Vizio 4K TV for $7.99, $5.99, whatever the price is. But it's the fact that there is a lack of content for 4K, so it hasn't really exploded in the mainstream where everybody's running out to buy a 4K TV. It seems like this year's trend with televisions were add-ons, right? Like add as much as you can. Samsung is doing their smart
high dynamic range is the new big thing when it comes
HDR
to
displays.
video.
Yeah, HDR
You see this now being done with YouTube, Netflix, and they're also seeing this supported on TVs now, where high dynamic range is the new 3D TV.
Sure, yeah. And I guess if you could turn it on and off, that's great, right? It's brighter. It's far more realistic. I mean, I spoke about it yesterday, and I spent about an hour online just researching about the HDR television sets and the purpose for them. And it seems like what it does is that it just makes the colors far more realistic. So it doesn't really look like you're looking at a television. It kind of looks like you're viewing something. So I guess that's pretty cool. But again, it's doing a lot of processing.
I wonder how big of a difference that really does make.
Okay, so from the demos that I saw, Nick, I don't know if you saw the HDR TV sets yet, but
yeah, I've seen some demos.
The demos that I've seen, and it's hard to determine based on a demo, right? Because everybody's house is different.
It's hard based on a photo of a demo.
Yeah, so I watched an actual
you're
video.
not there in person to see it. You're looking at it through your monitors, so you're not really getting a true representation
but you know what,
of
though?
what's capable.
But John, you know what I could do? I could take a regular Samsung TV and dim it down, dim the brightness and dim the backlight, and then take the same TV and up everything and calibrate the color, and I will tell you that this is a better set. And you're going to say, wow, this is a much better set. So, again, there's a little gimmicking happening here with these sets, but it seems like the HDR displays are in. Also, the other thing is the smart hubs, right? Samsung released their smart hub line, their home automation
The Internet
system.
of Things.
I mean, refrigerators, toasters, ovens.
Unbelievable.
Everything is connected. Everything has an 18-inch TV, flat screen attached to it, which is insane. It's technology for the sake of technology at this point.
Now, Whirlpool actually has appliances coming out now that integrate directly with Amazon. They came out with those Amazon dash buttons that let you with one button click order stuff from Amazon. Well, now that's being integrated into all of Whirlpool's appliances, where whenever you run out of like laundry detergent, the laundry machine will just order it order more from Amazon automatically
with the Whirlpool. I mean, that's I guess that's cool, right? I guess that's
cool
like,
until it malfunctions and it orders like 500 cases.
500 cases of yeah. I mean, that'd be amazing, right?
Dryer sheets. Yeah.
Something that I noticed here, and I wanted to talk about this. Something that stood out to me was LG showed off a paper-thin rollable OLED panel at CES. They announced that they have built an 18-inch OLED panel that rolls up like a newspaper, and they showed it off at CES. It is absolutely beautiful. It's
only like 3 millimeters thick, and it has a 1200 by 810 pixel resolution display on it, which is interesting.
Yeah, and you look at this and you say, well, what are we going to use this for? I mean, that's kind of silly. Well, the point of this would be there's two purposes. One, I think the main purpose with this would be for wearables, right? The thing that is lacking in the wearable market, in the smartwatch market, and Nick and I have spoken about this a bunch of times. I don't like the Apple Watch. I think it's ugly. People tell me I'm crazy. I think it's a hideous looking watch. But what a lot of people think that Apple will put out eventually is this beautiful, when we remember that we saw those mock-ups a couple years ago for an Apple Watch. You guys remember that?
Yeah, and they were just like clear bezel things.
Yeah.
It was just like pretty much a clear piece of glass with the screen on it.
With the screen on it, right? It like cuffed. It was like a cuff almost, and it was all glass. It was beautiful. That's where we're going with these wearables. I get it. Like something like this is a huge improvement, huge step forward in the wearable market. The other thing that,
but again, this is still basically just a prototype.
This is still a prototype. Yes, I mean we're 5 years away from this. Obviously, we're not anywhere near it. And Paul yesterday brought up an interesting point. A couple of years ago, 5 years ago, they were demoing these e-ink rollable displays, and that never hit the market. So
yeah,
I don't know when this is possibly going to happen, but the fact that we are working on the technology and we have hit the point where it looks stunningly beautiful, it's 3 millimeters thin. I could see this being an endless scenario where you could get one TV and just move it from room to room and put an adhesive on the back and put it wherever you want it to be.
Yeah.
You don't think
the
so?
The idea and concept is there. They still got more work to do.
Oh, God, yeah, 5 to 10 years.
Because you're talking about, what is essentially a 720p display, and with the way that TVs are being marketed now with 4K and Ultra HD, nobody's going to buy into a TV that's...
In 10 years, though, John? 10 years? We'll get it there. You don't think so? Let's take a bet now. 10 years from now, I'm going to be 42 years old. John will be 5,000 years old. Nick is going to be 14. 10 years.
You're the one with the kid. You're going to be older.
I'll be 15, by the way.
Yeah, I'm sorry, you'll be 15 years old in 10 years. We will look back and we'll see who won this bet. I think this is cool. Nick, do you think this is interesting? I thought this was a tremendous thing coming out of CES, where it kind of reflects on the future of these panels and the future of wearables.
Yeah, I mean the whole wearable. I've got the Pebble smartwatch here, and I've had this for about 2 years now. I'm really interested in the wearable market. And the flexible screen is going to be the next thing. But besides the smartwatch, I'm having a hard time I can't think of another use case for a flexible TV or a flexible screen.
Yeah, I'm
really struggling with that.
You're going to look more for niche products that this would fit, not necessarily TVs. It would be great to see in TVs. I just don't know that the technology is something that they can get up to par with what we currently have today.
We always talk about thinner, but at a certain point, having a device that is that thin is not you're not benefiting from it anymore. Like with a cell phone, right? How much thinner can they possibly make this cell phone where it still feels good in my hand?
Right.
Same thing with TVs now.
These products. Go ahead, Nick.
The TVs now are so razor thin. You put them on the wall, you don't even see them.
Oh, yeah, the TV that I have
how much
now.
thinner does it need to be? It's kind of ridiculous when you think about it.
To the point that you no longer see the TV.
It's just gone. It's built in.
Built into the wall. That's it. Nick, the next topic, I want you to kind of talk about this because you are the gaming expert here.
Yeah, of course.
The Oculus Rift pricing was announced finally. $599, and it ships in March to a limited amount of people. $599, but you also need a pretty powerful machine that's going to cost you maybe another $500 or $1,000. What do you think of this Oculus Rift?
So I've yet to see one in person, and I think this is where my criticism comes about it. I've seen a lot of videos. The Oculus, I think, was kickstarted originally.
It was, yeah.
When it did its development kit 1, which came out in
2 years ago, I think.
2014 or something like
Yeah.
that, 2013 maybe. I've yet to see an in-person demo, and honestly, if you look at all the videos, they're not too impressive. The screen is kind of low resolution per eye. It's like something like it's just under 1080p an eye, which if you look at a 1080p screen really close up, you can see the flaws in it. But the videos I've seen, I can't imagine sitting at my desk like this, and I've got the Google Cardboard. I can't imagine sitting at my desk like this. I can't see that happening.
But can you see yourself playing games like that? I mean, like playing like a first person shooter, like a Counter-Strike or wow, I'm dating myself there.
No, Counter-Strike Go is a legitimate first person shooter. I just don't see it. It's just not me. Maybe it's because I haven't used it in person yet and I haven't seen the true power. But you look at this thing and it's this big bulky box.
I have used one, by the way. I have used one in person.
And what were your
I
thoughts?
used the developer version, and it was bulky. It wasn't that great. It was clunky. It took a while to set up, but it was really cool using it. I mean, it was fascinating because at points it takes a while to kind of adjust, and at certain moments you actually get really into it. Like you get very much into it. But I can't see myself using that long term. It gets really fatiguing on your eyes.
I think it's, and I've heard people say it's like the same as watching 3D movies. It kind of screws with your eyes a little
probably
bit.
a little worse, actually. I would say it's a little worse than a 3D movie.
Yeah, I mean, and I don't do the 3D movies at all. I feel like garbage after I watch a 3D movie. I don't see myself doing it. Now, if I saw an in-person demo, I think my opinion would change. But $600 with I'm going to say $1,000 gaming PC, realistically, is a lot of money to spend for. I mean, at this point, it's kind of the same argument 4K is in. A lot of games support VR, but they don't really take advantage of it. They just take the screen display and they split it across the two screens so you can look back and forth.
Yeah, it's not really made for that.
Exactly.
Yeah. So
it's supported, but not made for it, and it's not taking the advantages of it.
So here's how I see this, right? The Oculus Rift is the first of its kind. And I predict the next generation consoles this will be a major part of the next gen consoles. And you can see Microsoft is already working on HoloLens, and they have the whole concept behind this thing. And I think the concept behind HoloLens is going to be adapted into not only other things that they're doing, corporate environments and stuff like that, but it's also going to be implemented in the next generation Xbox. Sony does not have a project like that currently that has.
Yes, I do.
No. Has leg. I mean, has like. It's functioning.
Yeah, it's Project Morpheus.
Project Morpheus. Yeah, but it's not as far along as let's say HoloLens is.
Okay.
They could team up with an Oculus. They could do that, but this is going to be the next generation of these things, and either Oculus gets bought by one of them, or
Facebook owns Oculus, which is not gonna. Facebook is not selling Oculus.
They're not gonna. Well, I don't know what they could do with them unless they were looking to get in the gaming field, which I don't know why. The future of Oculus really depends on if it's sold by Facebook or if Facebook does something tremendous with them, and I think it's the latter of the two.
Now, let me throw this to you, John and Andrew. Do you think that this $600 price point comes from Facebook's back end, or is this something that Oculus would have had on their own? Because $600 is a lot for something like this.
Go ahead, John.
I have absolutely no clue.
I would say that this is coming from Oculus. This is offsetting, R&D and manufacturing and development, everything. This is offsetting the cost because it took them a while, and this is a first of its kind device, and they have to spend the money.
Yeah, a lot of comments on blogs and on Reddit all kind of were hinting at the fact that Facebook was maybe the one that was kind of pushing for this to be a $600 device. Now, for me to be interested in this, I mean, I think it's got to be sub $300, right?
I think $350 is a good price point for it.
Okay. I don't see myself.
I think this is something that's always going to be somewhat of a niche type of thing. You're never going to get every single person that buys an Xbox to buy an Oculus Rift as well. You're only going to ever get somebody that's extremely serious about virtual reality gaming.
Yeah. Hey, John, tell us about what iHeartRadio and Universal are working on for VR concerts. This is pretty interesting.
So iHeartMedia and Universal Music Group are teaming up to take music into the virtual reality world. It sounds like basically what they're doing is something more than just what you see now, where you have what are called stage-it shows, where people can buy virtual concerts and you just watch it on your computer. They're taking this basically to the next level, where the idea is to bring a new VR experience to each of iHeart's big events throughout the year, kicking off with the Outfit's Music Awards show in April. But here's the kicker, and if you actually read some of the responses from the CEO, Bob Pittman, he says that as advertisers seek to tie their brands and products to music and artists in innovative ways, we can use our industry-leading reach and best-of-breed music events to unlock the combined power of music and virtual reality as a revolutionary marketing tool.
It's interesting. So
there is your entire reason why this is being done.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I returned it, that Samsung VR. And I got it for one reason, because they have the WWE Network there in VR, where you could actually watch matches in VR mode, in as if you're there. And they take you through different scenes. So one scene you're in the back, one scene you're like high up, one scene you're, right front row. I thought it was a cool experience, but the problem is the matches are only 5 minutes long because the devices overheat. You can't really watch a 20-minute clip in VR on this thing. So it kind of defeats the purpose. But I think there is a marketplace for this. People would pay money. Like, I would pay money to go watch Billy Joel via VR, through this thing. You pay like you're paying for a pay-per-view, and you're getting a front row seat for a great concert.
What?
You wouldn't do it?
No.
I would do it.
For
no
like 4
way.
hours,
I mean, they're gonna charge you like $20 to do this, and I'm like, why? It's
5 o'clock on a
You're
Saturday.
not gonna get the same
crowd
experience.
shuffles in. No, it's not the same, but I think it's a cool experience. I think it's a fascinating
gimmick.
Listen, I think it is a gimmick, but there is some money to be made, and these guys are looking to make some more money.
I don't like this. I don't like virtual reality. I don't see a need for it, even with this virtual concert stuff or virtual whatever getting you virtually there. It's all just very novel to me. If I want to see a concert, I want to see it in person.
But what if you can't make it?
That's the whole point, is to be there in front of the person performing the music.
But what if you can't make it?
That's the whole point of a concert.
But what if you can't make it there? What if you broke your leg?
Well, they have disabled accessible stuff at most places.
Listen, I think there is. It's interesting,
it's a
right?
law, Andrew. They had to have accessibility for handicapped people.
Okay, John, I think of course, if you have the option to go see a band or watch them in VR, you're going to go see the band. But somebody that's dead, like you're gonna that's your only option.
You're saying that dead people are going to use virtual reality to watch concerts?
Yeah, what did you say? Hold on. What did you?
Yes, if you are dead and you are underground, you will be using VR. But like, what if you wanted to watch a Michael Jackson concert?
I think that's cool. Yeah, I think that's something like that is really cool.
That's the whole use.
Yeah.
Like, it's not like, I could either drive half an hour and see the band or sit on my couch and watch it with my Oculus in VR. I mean, that's stupid.
If you're talking about past performances that artists that you would have never have gotten a chance to see otherwise because they are no longer touring or have passed away, I think that's neat.
I think that's what they're going to try to do.
Artist that's currently out there today,
I don't see them doing current shows, because all that is going to do is take money away from.
That's basically what the CEO is hinting to.
Yeah,
he says that the whole thing is for them to tie in their advertising to current artists.
Yeah,
that's their whole sole purpose of doing this, is for marketing.
It's also for the kids. You know how many kids want to go see Taylor Swift or Justin Timberlake, and
Justin Timberlake.
Oh yeah,
I don't know. I'm just naming names. The kids. It's 2001. People love Justin Timberlake. So you know what I mean?
You're gonna be sitting there with this stupid headset on your face for this virtual concert with Pepto-Bismol ads in the corner.
Yeah. Isn't that amazing?
That's what it amounts to.
Yeah.
Like, you're not. That's just so retarded right there. I'm sorry, but that's just stupid. I don't want to sit there with this thing on my face watching ads at a concert.
Listen,
you don't have ads at a freaking concert.
There's going to be a pre-roll.
There's going to be a mid-roll and a pre-roll following, and a post-roll.
Do you want to watch an ad for Pepto-Bismol in the middle of one of Billy Joel's songs?
No.
It's going to happen.
No, but you may need one. Everybody's getting really loaded at those concerts, so you may need one. So, Nick, you got a story here, you told me.
Yeah, I am I'm still stuck with the evil Time Warner Cable.
Yeah.
Verizon is moving in rapidly. They've strung up the neighborhood, but it's not out yet for consumers. So I don't have Verizon yet. But there was a big breach at Time Warner Cable. 320,000 customers' email passwords were compromised. And the interesting thing about this is the FBI told Time Warner that they had gotten hacked.
Yeah.
They didn't realize it internally. The FBI had decided, hey guys, 320,000 people's email passwords were stolen. Time Warner, I haven't gotten an apology from Time Warner yet in my email.
So did you change your what
statement.
password did you have to change? Your main login?
I changed everything. I changed my login, and I still have like a roadrunner.com email. I don't use it, but I still have it because, email lists and stuff still spill into it. But I changed like my TWC login and my email login. But the fact that they didn't know that this happened and the FBI had to notify them is insane.
Yeah, it is scary.
How are you
right?
not aware?
Yeah, it's really scary that this could happen. How did the FBI find out before they did? That's the amazing part of this.
I'm not surprised by this whatsoever, and quite frankly, it's less than 1 million people, so why should anybody care?
Yeah.
No,
how can they not
crappy.
know?
Yeah. It's crappy that they're not aware of this, but you know what?
This is the nature of the world that we live in now, is that not only do you have to worry about companies not knowing they were hacked, but even if they were hacked, are they going to tell anybody?
Well, the other thing is, how many other companies are having, they're having some security issues and they're vulnerable and they're not even aware, and the FBI is not even aware. How many times has companies had data breaches and we never know? What happens? But what happens if it's only like Time Warner Cable lost 1,000? If it was 1,000 people, would the FBI be notifying them? Would they even know?
Probably not.
Probably not.
No. And how do we know how accurate those numbers are? I mean, the fact that it was a third, I don't think they were directly hacked. I think it was a third party that uses maybe a Time Warner login. That's what this Engadget article is hinting at. But that number could be well over 1 million.
Yeah.
The fact that Time Warner didn't even know it was happening just shows that how can you accurately say how many people were or weren't hacked?
It also shows their ignorance.
Yeah, that they're not even aware that something like this is happening.
It's bizarre.
Yeah, it is all bizarre, and it's also a little scary, you know. What's the scariest part of this? Like, let's say Time Warner Cable gets hacked, right? Okay, your username and your password got compromised, but do you know how many people actually use the same username and password for everything that they do?
Yeah, I have family members. I know they use the same password for everything.
The same username and password. I mean,
everything.
I just did. For a relative, I was working on something, and all of her passwords were Snowball1 for everything. For everything.
And the worst part is you can. I've had this discussion before, maybe with you, Andrew, but
yeah,
this whole password, have secure passwords, isn't a new thing. People have been saying it for 10 or 15 years. Use a different password for every service you use, and for whatever reason, people just don't do it, and you can't stop stupid.
No,
that's
you
really
can't.
What it comes down to.
And the other thing is, and I'm going to tell you guys a story here. I'm going to try to hold back on details because if you listen to me all the time, you can figure out. I went to something, and this is a major company, and their admin password was 111111. The admin password for this business, major company.
Yeah, for what it's worth, like even the admin password for the stuff for all the stuff at the high school I used to go to was like the initials and then the year. Every year they change it.
Yeah, I mean, John, we have a complicated password for GFQ. You know?
Yeah.
We don't make it.
How could you not? It's not GFQ 2016. I hope to God it's not.
That is it.
Shut it all down. Shut it all
down, John.
Can I tell you that one of the best things that you can do for security is to have a password manager?
I disagree with you.
We always say that you need to have a nice, strong, secure password, not to use the same password at every single place. And one of the best ways to do that is with a password manager,
okay, so
whether it's LastPass, 1Password, or KeyPass.
So I have a question for you,
Having
John.
a password manager is one of the easiest and best things you can do. You no longer have to remember all your passwords.
Okay, so I have a question for you, okay? Let's say your LastPass password gets compromised. What can you do then? Is it, like how do you prevent that from happening?
There's nothing you can do.
Yeah, because then
But they do have a lot of encryption in place.
Okay.
So what I think, and it's not even what I think, it's just what I do. I don't like it's not even the password getting hacked. It's if the service gets compromised, right? I mean, the fact that the hackers are
and LastPass had that happen before.
Exactly. I mean, of course, the hackers are, if they want to compromise an amazing amount of users, LastPass or a password manager would be a great place to do it. But I mean, you can even set up your own passwords if you follow a format, right? If you maybe you do initials and then a number or a bunch of numbers and then a symbol or something like that, you can make up your own passwords, and that's what I do. I have a little format I follow.
Yeah.
And all of my passwords are different. Or I not every password, but like a group of passwords, like stuff I care more about, like banking and PayPal and stuff like that. I'll have one set of passwords, and then like all the forms that I'm on, I'll have another set, right? Because if a form gets hacked, it's not the end of the world.
It's not an end of the world. Yeah.
So like those will all have the same password.
Yeah, it's interesting.
It's a risk assessment thing.
Yeah.
Like, do I really need a different password for one form than another? I mean, it's a form. How much stuff is really on there?
I lost the show notes, guys. Sorry. I don't know where I am now.
Do we want to talk about all the ridiculous crap at CES?
Yeah, John. That's you know what? I love it when you talk about the ridiculous crap. Go ahead.
Because this is something that I love to watch. I mean, like last year we saw the Belty, this automatically tightening belt that was just completely ridiculous, and I'm sure there was a whole bunch more last year.
What was it last year? Which one? The Belty?
The Belty.
I remember
the automatic tightening belt. Which
so
they showed off
stupid.
again this year. They showed off new models.
Oh my god.
So they're not dead yet, but there was some really ridiculous crap this year that I saw. Let's start off with the transforming robotic video projector.
Transforming robot video projector.
Yes.
Okay.
The same company that brought the regular size Ghost drone has announced the 184. Oh, excuse me, that's the wrong story. That's the next story. It's from Cervo. And they've brought a lot of weird stuff before, but they've got this new robot, this Autobot they've dubbed T-Pron. And it's equal part Autobot and long throw projector. It stands at just 1.5 feet tall when completely folded and doubles its height as it unfurls to cast 80 inches of, get this, 720p video at your wall.
Oh boy.
480i.
It's a 480.
The device
Yeah,
can
480.
also wheel itself from room to room at your command via an Android app, so users aren't limited to watching content in a single place. I don't know if you can bring up a picture of this thing, but it looks. These things are just absolutely ridiculous.
How about you just like carry your projector from one room to another?
Yeah, why not do that?
What is it? How does this thing go down the
so
stairs?
inconvenient.
But how does this thing go down the stairs? It's just
It doesn't.
so you have to be in a one story.
Yeah.
Yes.
Great.
Or an elevator. You have to have an elevator, Nick.
Nick, get an elevator.
It knows to push the up or down button depending on what floor it's on. This thing, the battery is, it's only a 5,800 milliamp battery.
That's it.
Yeah, it doesn't last very long.
I can't imagine. You're not watching an hour and a half movie on that. I don't think. That's bizarre.
No.
How much is this thing, John?
I have no idea. It's basically just something they throw out to see if anybody would be interested. And that's one of the things I hate about CS is that it's crap like this. It's a lot of interesting. Never thought about doing that before. And why? Because nobody needs one. Who needs a freaking robotic video projector?
I'm gonna Google this thing to see if I can find it. What is it? It's a robotic video projector. Robotic. What's the name of it?
It's the
T-Pron.
TIPRON.
T what?
TIPRON. Nobody has a price. This thing has got to be. It's probably $5,000.
Oh my god, this thing. This thing is ridiculous looking. Let's go here. That's it, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Looks like Wally.
CES 2016, the
Yeah.
coolest gear. It does look like Wally. Yeah.
Oh, this thing is ridiculous.
It's a
here we go.
monaural speaker. It has a
sell
speaker in
somewhere.
this thing.
Of course, it's got to have a speaker, so you don't have to plug in an auxiliary cable.
And by the way, it's only 250 lumens. So it's not like you're getting a whole lot of brightness from this thing.
No, it's just a toy.
It'll sell for anywhere between $1,000 and $2,000.
No, is that what it says?
That's what this article says.
Oh my god, that's insane. Anything else, John? What else? What else was there ridiculous?
So there's also a supersized drone that'll fly you to work.
I saw that, but that's a prototype, right?
Yes, it's a prototype. The 184 doesn't just look like a drone; it acts like one. Passengers will only have minimal controls: take off, pause flight, and land. The drone's autonomous flight controls do all the rest for you. All you need to do is push a button. The 184 also comes with a few creature comforts. There's air conditioning, 4G data connection, and storage big enough for a backpack, and even a dual-color reading light.
Yeah, so you also get only about 20 minutes of flight time, right?
Yeah, it's basically a 23-minute flight, and it's a 10-mile radius that it can take you. And they said that this thing will cost between $200,000 and $300,000. It's about the size of a smart car.
So it's pretty much a helicopter.
It is a helicopter.
I would be afraid to go into this thing.
I'm afraid.
This is a quick way to kill yourself.
I see a lot of those.
It says it can take a passenger up to 260 pounds. However, I just don't trust this thing. I'm looking at this thing and I'm like, the weight distribution. I'm just worried. You lean to one side. How well is this thing really going to compensate for the weight shifting?
Yeah, well,
what if it's really windy?
Well, here's the other thing, okay? They have like these personal copters. You've seen those, right? Like you get one for like $40,000 or $50,000. These personal helicopters.
It's a one-seater.
Yeah, it's like a one-seater, and you can take off from anywhere. The FAA is not going to regulate that. They're not going to allow everybody to have a drone and fly around with this thing. I mean, it's
a flying car that we've always wanted.
It is a flying car we always wanted, but unfortunately, you know what? When you're a couple hundred feet in the air or a couple thousand feet in the air, things get a little bit scary. There's no surviving that.
Why are they calling it a drone? This is not a drone. This is a helicopter.
I think you control it with like an iPad.
But it doesn't matter. I mean,
it's autonomous.
Yeah.
I would not classify this thing as a drone. This is a helicopter. This is exactly what a helicopter does.
So GoPro, there's a Ghost drone also. Did you see that one?
Yeah.
The Ghost drone.
Yeah, that's the older version.
Yeah. It's fascinating.
You're dealing with.
All right. What else did we have, John?
10 miles.
So there's two other stories that I wanted to get to here real quick if we could. So one of the other big stories this week was BlackBerry is dumping BlackBerry 10 for Android this year. And this is something that we've kind of seen the writing on the wall for many years now, where BlackBerry has been trying to forge a path with its operating system, BlackBerry 10, and they just now released the BlackBerry Prev, which is basically their first Android phone, and now it sounds like they're going to follow that up with a couple more phones.
Yeah, so does this mean that it's over for BlackBerry 10, or they're pulling back slowly?
Surprisingly, this is not the end for BlackBerry 10. John Chen, the CEO of BlackBerry, actually says that he wants to continue trying to figure out a way to make BlackBerry 10 viable. He's hoping that, if we release these Android devices, maybe it'll get enough more people interested in BlackBerry and they can, reintroduce BlackBerry 10 to people.
Yeah, I mean,
that's
listen,
their logic there. And
BlackBerry 10 is a great operating
logic,
system.
That's horrible logic.
BB10 is a good operating system. There's nothing, I can't say a bad thing about it. It's just,
BlackBerry as a whole.
BlackBerry,
I think their perception is so tarnished that even what they're doing now, and part of the problem is that they still have not yet corrected the issues from long before with them competing with the iPhone. It's the fact that BlackBerry moves so slowly and they're so slow to respond that by the time they respond, they're so delayed in that response, and it's so weak of a response that it's completely pointless whatever they do.
Well, I mean, BlackBerry's a great example of not moving with the times, They just stuck.
Not moving with the times and not releasing a product that's fully baked.
Nick, would you be interested in a BlackBerry Android phone?
I actually, for the first time ever, I would have recommended. My grandmother wants a smartphone, but doesn't want one that's got the one that has an actual keyboard. That's where I think that's about the only use case I would actually recommend a BlackBerry smartphone.
Yeah, and I guess you
because
could
it's
do
one of
Android
the
now.
only that still has a physical keyboard. And for older people, they don't really understand the whole on-screen keyboard thing. It's very, very confusing for them. But if they can get an Android phone running with the actual slide-out keyboard, I think that's great. Not for me, but for somebody.
For somebody, it's great.
Yeah. I mean, personally, I'd rather just have the on-screen, but for an older person that doesn't want to use on-screen, I think they're one of the only things on the market.
Hey, John, when did you last have BlackBerry? I know you got rid of it, but what did you have for a while?
I had the BlackBerry Curve up till 2012.
And why did you go with BlackBerry in the first place?
I got my BlackBerry, I think, 2007, 2008. I had it for a very long time.
But why did you choose that?
At the time, I wanted it because of the keyboard and because BlackBerry had that reputation.
Yeah. Well, that's all out the window now. You know?
Yeah.
What else do you have, John?
But the fact, I think it's actually hilarious that the whole reason that they're doing Android phones to begin with is to reintroduce people into the BlackBerry brand and hoping that once they reintroduce the BlackBerry brand that way, then they can move on from Android into their own operating system.
Yeah.
So get everybody comfortable.
That's a little wacky
so what they're doing, they're going from BlackBerry BB10 to Android, and then from Android they want to go back to BB10.
Yeah, basically they're looking to do a bait and switch.
Yeah, that's something else. For lack of a better term.
You know, if they were smart, if BlackBerry was smart, what they need to do is focus on car technology. Car technology does not move nearly as fast as mobile devices do and as smartphones do. And I think the way that BlackBerry is set up, they would be a much better fit for looking at car technology, developing that sort of stuff. They bought QNX, which makes a lot of car technology.
And they're doing really well.
Infotainment systems.
I believe QNX is in like 80-something% of all cars.
And I think they would be smart to develop that into a crossbreed of QNX and Android or BlackBerry 10 and figure their way out to get that onto infotainment systems in cars. Yeah. I think that would be a much better use of their time rather than trying to continue to play this dead game of releasing phones.
Yeah.
Nobody really cares about BlackBerry Priv anymore. It's those things where it's been too long, too late, too little for so long that there's no coming back from where they were.
All right, everybody, let's go buy a BlackBerry Curve. Can we all do that?
Yeah.
I saw somebody using a BlackBerry Curve the other day.
I'm sorry. What else do you have, John? Anything else?
Twitter seems intent on increasing the character limit for tweets. Last year, they changed how many characters you can have in a direct message up to 10,000, and they're looking to do the same thing with tweets, where they're going to change the limit from 140 characters all the way up to 10,000 characters for a tweet.
10,000 characters.
10,000 characters, the same as a direct message, will now be the new is what they're looking to create for the new limit.
I mean that's way too much.
I will never use Twitter again.
Yeah, you know what? I think this is going to hurt them in the long run because they really benefit from the fact that it's 140 characters and it's quick, and it reconditioned people on how to get their point across in 140 characters in a short, one sentence. And people are going to go on these huge diatribes of nonsense now on Twitter. I don't know if that's necessarily going to be a good thing.
No, it's going to be awful. I mean, you look at unlock your phone right now. Go to the Twitter app. I mean, the nice thing is that the stuff is pretty evenly spaced, right? You can, if I open up my Twitter app, I can see 5 or 6 tweets on the screen at one time. When people are going to be tweeting 10,000 characters, it's going to be just a wall of text. I could see 4 different tweets on my phone right now, and 2 of them have images. That's going to be terrible. It's going to make the whole Twitter thing useless.
I think that's been basically what I've been hearing every time I talk to somebody about Twitter changing the limit up to 10,000 characters. Is that's just way too much?
Way too much.
I think everybody can agree.
Why not 240? Yeah. Why not 200?
Why not 200? Why not? Make it so that hashtags and URLs don't count.
That would make the most. You know what, John? That makes the most sense.
Why not exempt? Every time you reply to somebody, their username doesn't count against the character limit.
Yeah, that makes a
so
lot
you'd
of
have
sense.
140 characters of actual text. Even when you upload an image, it counts as it goes
Right.
against your.
Do you know why? Somebody asked them that, and they said it prevents spam. But now with 10,000 characters, you could just add everybody.
Yeah.
It's even worse. I don't know. I'm curious to see how this impacts Twitter. I do not see them.
I just don't understand the reasoning for this, other than they want to match the same character limit as direct messages, which I don't see them needing to that. If you're going to write that much stuff, just put it in a direct message to whoever you need to send that information to.
I mean, I think the whole point of Twitter is quick communication. Like Andrew said, it changes the way you type and how you do things on the internet. And you don't fill it with a bunch of useless words. You get your point out, right?
Yeah.
That's what I like about Twitter. It's quick. I mean, most of the things you see, most people don't even hit 140.
No, they don't.
Because they just say little things like, check out this picture, and then the link to the picture. Not, hey, I was in the forest this weekend. I took this really cool picture of this rock.
I was in the
Look
forest.
at my picture and follow me.
I was in the forest, everybody.
I was in the forest, yes. They just post the picture because they're not going to fill 140 characters with it.
Yeah.
10,000, it's going to be, talk about the spammers are going to love that.
Yeah.
It's going to be so bad. I don't think they will. This has got to be.
I'm just not interested in reading something with 10,000 characters to begin with. I'm like, I don't want to read a novel.
Yeah.
I just want a status update.
That's one of the turnoffs on Reddit. The Reddit comments section is, it's a wall of text. You go on there and it's like 3 paragraphs printed out.
Yeah, no, you're right.
It's ridiculous.
You're right. Anything else, John?
I think that's pretty much it.
I
Unless there's anything else you want to talk about.
No, that's it. I don't want to talk about anything. Nick, let's talk about what you're up to.
Yes.
Computers 2K Now every Sunday,
of course.
9 a.m. on Nissan Communication at computers2know.com. What else are you up to?
I do some freelance WordPress web development work at craigdigitaldesigns.com, and my Twitter is at Nicholas M. Craig. That's pretty much it.
Nicholas M. Craig.
Yes.
John, what do you have going on? Anything? Okay, that's about it.
Yeah.
If you want to help us out here at the GFQ Network, you want to tip us, you could do so by going to patreon.com/whatthetech. You can fund us whatever you want. 10 cents, 50 cents, $1, 25 cents, whatever you want to do, you can fund us. It helps us going. It keeps everything running here at the network. Also, if you want to help us out without spending, without giving us anything, next time you buy something on Amazon, use our link, gfq.co/Amazon. That's gfq.co/Amazon. Every time you make a purchase, we get a tiny little credit. Those pennies count, guys. Those pennies count a lot. I got to buy a new camera here in the studio.
I just had to get a new hard drive.
Yeah, I had to buy John a very expensive hard drive. So that comes right out of here because the GFQ Network hard drive crashed. So we have to put everything to another one. gfq.co/Amazon. Use that link. Bookmark it. Put it in your tab. Put it on your desktop, whatever it is, and click on it every time you go to Amazon. Also, you can follow me on Twitter at Andrew Zarian. Subscribe to the podcast, guys, please. We're everywhere podcasts are available. Follow me on Twitter at Andrew Zarian. You can follow John at Suncast. Nicholas M. Craig on Twitter.
Yes, that's it. Yeah.
And we'll see you all next week. Bye-bye for now.